Welcome to the Keys to Safe Driving. This presentation is made during Older Driver Safety Week. Mobility and transportation are important to ensure older drivers remain active in their communities, whether it's shopping, working, or volunteering. Transportation should not be the barrier to older drivers doing the things that they want or need to do in their communities.
Hello, I'm Dr. Beverly Carter, and on behalf of Commissioner May Carpenter of the Westchester County Department of Senior Programs and Services, I welcome you to Older Driver Safety Week. Commissioner Carpenter initiated the Older Driver Coalition and Transportation Collaboratives in order to address the needs of seniors in Westchester County. So please sit back and enjoy our presentation, The Keys to Safe Driving.
I'm Dr. Kathleen Gallis, an occupational therapy faculty member at Mercy College, and I'll be joined today by several colleagues in our presentation. To get us started, we want you to think about your driving history and experience. Think about what changes you've noticed in cars since you first obtained your driver's license. There are probably more gadgets, such as GPS or music systems, more technology, such as parking assist features, more safety features such as seat belts and airbags, and more choices in vehicles and their features. Think about the changes you've noticed in the driving environment since you first obtained your driver's license. Drivers appear less courteous. There are more incidents of road rage. People are driving at faster speeds, and there are more lanes on the roads, resulting in more traffic congestion. Now think about the things that you've noticed as changes in yourself over the past 5 to 10 years. Has your vision declined as you've aged? Have there been changes to your hearing? How about your flexibility or speed of moving? Has that changed? Today, we want to talk to you about what you can do to keep driving safely for as long as you can, and to begin thinking now about how you would stay active in your community and social network if or when it becomes necessary to retire from driving. Older drivers are a relatively safe group of drivers, but there are some driving behaviors or tasks that present concern for older drivers. Some of the changes in our bodies as we age affect these skills. We will discuss how these skills are challenging and what you can do to decrease your risk. Left turns are especially risky for older drivers. The most common kind of crash that older drivers have happens when they make left-hand turns into oncoming traffic. Older drivers often will make 3 right-hand turns to avoid making a left-hand turn across oncoming traffic. Turning your car at stop signs or traffic lights may require quick decision-making and quick physical responses. Yielding the right of way can be challenging if you have difficulty seeing other vehicles or pedestrians. Changing lanes, passing other vehicles, and merging into traffic are also challenging tasks that have greater risk for older drivers. Maintaining speed as posted and adapting to new technology can be challenging for some older drivers. However, as experienced drivers, older drivers use that experience to make safe decisions about when or if they should drive. As a group, older drivers tend to limit their driving to daytime, not driving as much in evenings, good weather days, changing plans to avoid driving in rain or snow, lower traffic volume times, avoiding scheduling appointments that require a rush hour drive, avoiding making left-hand turns, making those 3 right-hand turns to be able to go straight across versus having to make the left-hand turn, or planning the errands that you need to run so that you stop at all the stores on the right, then make 1 left-hand turn and visit the stores previously on the left on your way back home. Older drivers will look for parking spots that avoid the need to back up. Turning one's neck to back up can be very challenging. And finally, older drivers will make shorter trips to avoid fatigue. The stay-at-home orders during this pandemic may have changed driving skills. Everyone is driving less, and you may be resuming driving after a lengthy period. Drivers may be experiencing increased stress and anxiety, which may affect their driving skills. It appears that there has been an increase in drivers speeding due to less traffic. If you're wearing a mask in the car, you want to make sure that it's on correctly. It should cover your nose and mouth, but not your eyes, and it should not obstruct your vision. This is especially true if you wear glasses because they can fog up. If you're by yourself in the car or with someone in your household, it's a low-risk situation and you may not need to wear a cloth mask face covering. Let's talk more specifically about the changes that can occur as we age and how you can address these changes to minimize their effect on driving. There may be physical characteristics that change as we age. This is a natural and normal process, but it can be slowed. Reduced physical strength and endurance can result from normal aging or from chronic diseases such as arthritis. Reduced movement or flexibility can make getting in and out of the car challenging, or turning to scan the environment during turns and merges more challenging. If a person suffers from chronic pain, this can affect concentration and limit freedom of movement to an extent that it can make driving dangerous. To improve your physical health, you could try increasing your exercise, of course, with your doctor's permission. You don't have to join a gym or become a bodybuilder. Walking for at least 20 minutes 5 times a week is great. Many malls have walking clubs, and some local healthcare centers offer wellness programs for reasonable fees. Even during the pandemic, walking the hallways around your home or building can help. Participating in daily stretching or yoga may increase flexibility that can be used during driving. This doesn't have to be rigorous stretching. Just sitting in a chair and turning your head and shoulders to look behind as if you were checking your mirrors and are emerging into a road when driving. Make sure your nutrition is adequate. This helps ensure your muscles have the nutrients they need, and that if you're diabetic, your glucose levels remain stable. Regular checkups with your doctor offer an opportunity to investigate if there are things that can be done to improve your physical health and support your continued safe driving. If you have hearing loss, wear your hearing aids when driving. They will help you to hear emergency sirens and train whistles. Manage your pain if you experience chronic pain. It can be distracting and increase your risk of a crash. Age-related visual changes, such as decreased visual acuity, reduced light sensitivity, and increased glare sensitivity, may make it more difficult for older drivers to compensate during driving. These issues are even greater during night driving. Older adults have reported that the glare from oncoming traffic headlights can be problematic during night driving. There are several things you can do to make sure your vision is at its best to support your driving safely. Schedule regular eye exams. Discuss any changes with your doctor. There may be something that can be corrected in your vision and improve your ability to see risk in the environment. Make sure your headlights and mirrors are clean. Adjust your steering wheel so it doesn't block your vision of the gauges on your dashboard. If you have difficulty with contrast sensitivity, turn the brightness up on your instrument panel for greater contrast. The image here shows the popular wraparound sunglasses. If you wear these type of sunglasses, make sure that they don't block your side vision. Consider avoiding during the hours of dawn, dusk, night, and poor weather. Contrast is lowest under these conditions, and it can be difficult to observe obstacles or driving risk. If you attend an in-person CarFit, which we'll talk about in a minute, a technician will demonstrate a method to adjust your side mirrors to help to reduce or eliminate blind spots. A technician might also show you some blind spot mirrors that can be attached to your side mirrors. Sit high enough in your seat so that you can see the road for at least 10 feet in front of your car. Always keep your eyes on the road so that you can see and react to potential risk. We know that some of you use parking permits for the handicap parking spaces. We want to remind you that you should only hang the permit from your rear view mirror once you are parked. Driving with it hanging can block some of your vision of oncoming traffic and obstacle. If you look here, the rear view mirror has the handicap parking sign attached to it. It is actually blocking the woman that was standing behind that sign. Changes in one's thinking are often the areas that can put drivers at greatest risk for a crash. As we age, our reaction time increases. We need more time to recognize and respond to situations. People with early onset Alzheimer's disease may become confused and have difficulty finding their way when driving. This can lead to serious consequences, including injury or death. It's harder to ignore distractions as we age. Things such as talking on the cell phone, talking to passengers, in-car navigation systems, or even the radio may be distracting. Other things that you can do to keep your thinking skills sharp for driving include staying mentally active, using your problem-solving skills in non-driving ways to help mental flexibility. This may include doing jigsaw puzzles or word cross puzzles, Sudoku or word search puzzles, learning a new hobby or skill, playing some computer games with your grandchildren, or being engaged in things such as a book club. To help focus your attention and reduce your risk of a crash, you can plan your route considering the traffic, weather, and road conditions. Pick the time and route that offers the least risk. Drive during the day during low traffic times. Pick days and times when the lighting helps your visibility and contrast sensitivity. Try to use intersections with green arrow signals. They are safer as you are not crossing oncoming traffic. Keep a safe distance between you and the car ahead. You should be able to see the wheels of the car in front of you. And eliminate distractions such as cell phones, eating, the radio, and maybe even conversations. Unfortunately, as we age, we may end up taking more medications to deal with chronic diseases or just changes in our body. Many medications cause drowsiness and can slow reaction times, making you at greater risk for a crash. Make sure you pay attention to any medication labels that say may cause drowsiness. Drug combinations may produce unexpected, serious, or dangerous side effects. Over-the-counter medications may also affect driving, especially things such as flu or cold remedies. Avoid driving when you first start taking a new medication. Side effects such as drowsiness are often worse in the first few days, but lessen as your body adjusts to the drug. Anytime you are prescribed a new medication, ask your physician or pharmacist what effects the drug may have on your driving skills. We also suggest that once a year, you bag up all of your medications, both prescribed and over the counter, and take them to one of your doctors for them to review, or take them to a pharmacist to review. Sometimes some medications are prescribed by different doctors for the same thing, and two medications may interfere with each other. Since we are all specialists and seeing specialists, it's important that each doctor knows what the others have prescribed. Let's talk about some of the new laws that have occurred or some of the changes that have occurred because of the pandemic. Effective in November 1st of this year, there is a new law in New York State that requires backseat passengers to wear a seatbelt. During COVID, there have been some extensions to the regulations from the Department of Motor Vehicles. If your driver's license expires between March 1st and December 31st of this year, you can renew online by self-certifying that your vision is acceptable, but then you must submit a vision test to the DMV within 1 year of your renewal. In addition, the Real ID, the federal Real ID enforcement deadline has been extended until October 1st of 2021. There are several resources that can help keep older drivers safe on the road. CarFit is a community-based educational program designed to address driver vehicle fit and vehicle safety features used among older drivers. Participating in a CarFit event offers drivers the opportunity to check how well their personal vehicle fits them. We also provide information and materials on community-specific resources that could enhance their safety as drivers and/or increase their mobility in the community. In a recent study, results revealed that 95% of participants felt that CarFit was somewhat or very useful. Right now, due to the pandemic, CarFit events are virtual workshops. You can find out more about the CarFit program at www.car-fit.org. At a CarFit event, an occupational therapist may suggest a piece of equipment that might be a solution to a challenge that an older driver is experiencing. For example, if we look at the first picture, we see a device is attached to the seat belt. This makes it easier to reach for the belt. It's helpful for drivers who have issues with their shoulders or with arthritis. In the second image, you see a device that's called a handy bar. It fits into the door latch ring on the frame of your car. It gives you a place to push up from your seat. It's helpful for people who have weakness in their legs or just need a place to push up from. Number 3 shows a small mirror that's attached to the standard side mirror. These can help reduce blind spots and assist when changing lanes or merging into traffic. The fourth image shows a wedge cushion that can raise a driver in the seat to have better visibility over the steering wheel without causing their thighs to be also raised and eventually rub against the steering wheel. A medically based driving evaluation looks at the necessary skills for safe driving in individuals who have a physical, mental, or cognitive condition. These programs typically have 3 phases: a clinical evaluation, a behind-the-wheel road test, and a driver training program if indicated. The clinical driving evaluation typically involves a variety of clinical evaluations, computerized testing, and possibly a driver simulator. We look at things such as driving history, medications, communication abilities such as the ability to read road signs, interpret symbols, and to speak. We look at cognitive or thinking abilities, physical abilities, and then there's a road trial, observed driving in a dual control car. If you have just been through a surgery such as a joint replacement or cardiac surgery, it is important to consult with your doctor on when it's safe to be able to return to driving. There may be some precautions depending on the type of surgery that you've had. If you or someone you know needs a medically based driving evaluation, please contact us for a referral. If you are a veteran, you may be eligible for a free driving evaluation at one of our regional VA centers that has a driving program.
Hello, my name is Mary Ellen Burns, and I'm with the Westchester County Department of Public Works and Transportation. We had a moment to talk about some of the tips and strategies we can use to stay safe on the road. Now let's look at things we can do if we don't feel safe on the road. What are some of the reasons people may stop driving? A car is a very expensive thing. Gasoline and maintenance is close to $9,282 per year to keep a car. Anxiety, we may not feel safe on the road, so we get nervous behind the wheel, and that's never good. Recent injury or illness that keeps us from feeling safe in the car. And then sometimes people just don't feel safe driving. We talked about how roads can be very crowded with other cars and people can get nervous with people behind them. So there's a lot of reasons why people may not want to drive anymore. But that's okay, because what we can do is we can plan for this. So what I like to call this part is planning for driving retirement. And there's two things that I like to remember while we go through this part. First of all, we want to make sure that we're honest with ourselves and our abilities. All of the safety that we're thinking of doesn't mean anything if we're not honest with ourselves and our abilities. So that's something to keep in mind. And the second thing to remember is the second thing to remember is information is power. Don't get rid of something because you don't think it's right for you or you don't know about it. Know your options and then make the plan. So first of all, planning for driving retirement. What we want to do is we want to know where we need to go and how we're going to do that. Okay, so we want to make a list of all the places you want to go. Okay, remember, you might have to go shopping. You might have to go to the doctor. You might want to visit friends, but there are other things you want to do that might be fun and for you. A movie, many things. So just think of all the places you want to go, make a list of that, okay? Then what you want to do is you want to think of different ways of getting there without driving. And we have that for you. Okay, alternatives to driving. Things to think about. Ask a friend or a family member for a ride. People like to be helpful, okay? Be a safe pedestrian. We're going to talk more about this, but walking, if you're able to walk, walking someplace is great exercise and is a great way to get to where you want to be, okay? Taking public transportation. I love this one. This is one of my favorites. Just remember, understand what's going on, what transportation you have. We're going to talk a little more about it. The Beeline goes all over Westchester County. Some people might feel a little nervous because they don't know enough about it. But before you say, oh, I can't take the bus, figure out. All of our buses now are accessible, which means they have a wheelchair lift or a ramp. So if people can't get up the steps, you can ask the driver. That's the important part. Ask the driver to use the lift. It's there for you. It's the front door. So that will help you get on and off the bus. Okay. Another cool thing is anybody who's at least 65 years of age can ride the bus for $1.35. That's less than full fare. And we use the same Metro card as New York City. So you get the reduced Metro card. You can go from our bus to a subway or to a city bus with one swipe of your card. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about also is people might feel a little apprehensive about taking the bus now with the pandemic. But I want to tell you what we're doing to help people stay safe on our buses. First of all of our buses are at the end of the day, go back to the garage and are fully disinfected inside. We've been doing that for years, did not just start now with the pandemic, right? The other thing is that if you're on the bus, all passengers must wear a mask and try your best to social distance, right? So those are some of the things that we've been doing with public transit that might be, that are helpful during the pandemic, right? The next thing is for people who can't take the bus, we have what's called paratransit. Paratransit is a program that you have to apply for, and you have to show that you cannot take a public bus. You can't get to a bus stop, you can't walk to a bus stop, you can't stand too long. All of those reasons would be a reason for paratransit. Another thing that you might be able to do is a senior shuttle. Many of the municipalities in Westchester offer a shuttle to seniors to go from their home to either a nutrition site or the senior center. And many also offer a bus that'll take them shopping. Great to know. Okay. There are also volunteer ride services. First one I would tell you about is West Fair Rides. Now, West Fair Rides is only for medical appointments. So you can call them up and say, I have to go on this day, I have to go to the doctor's. And what they will do is they will try to find you a volunteer driver. That's someone who will take their own car, pick you up, bring you to the doctor's, and bring you back. Okay, but that again is only for medical appointments. We also have Ride Connect, which is a great service also, but Ride Connect is for almost anything. If you want to visit a friend, if you want to go see someone in the hospital, or if you need to just want to go for a movie, Ride Connect, you call them up again, they try to schedule you with a volunteer driver, they'll pick you up and drop you off. So that's a lovely option. Okay, we talked about paratransit. Also, Project Timeout. This is a wonderful service for any caregiver who needs a little time off or needs to go out and do an errand. What Project Timeout will do is they will send you someone to sit with your loved one, or if you need somebody to go to the store or take them to a appointment. You can call them up and they'll offer you someone to come and just give you that little time out that you need. Okay. Alternatives to driving. We still have to get things done, but we have to figure out ways to do it so we don't have to drive. And there are many ways to do that. First of all, we have to go shopping for food. There are many stores that you can do online. You can order it using the computer and they'll deliver it to you. If you're not comfortable using the computer, you can also call up and use the phone, place your order, and they'll deliver it. There's another service which is called Shop and Drop, which is offered by the Family Services of Westchester. And that is where a volunteer will shop for you and bring you the food and drop it off at your door. So that's another way to do the grocery shopping. For medications and anything you might need at a pharmacy, many pharmacies deliver. So that's a great thing to look for. Now with going into the holidays, we also might be thinking of shopping for clothes or gifts or anything we would like to get. That can be done online as well, or with catalogs on the phone. So just before you make that journey in the car, just think of other ways that you might be able to do it without getting into the car.
Hello, my name is Anna Wiganowska, and I am with Westchester County Department of Public Works and Transportation. And as Mary Ellen mentioned before, being a pedestrian is an excellent alternative to driving. So we can accomplish a lot of things by walking. We are getting exercise, which is a bonus. We are getting something accomplished and also getting exercise at the same time. But that said, we want to be a safe pedestrian. We don't want to get hit by a car while we are doing something out there. And there are a few issues, a few points to remember that kind of help us focus on being safe while we are walking. Intersections are the first thing to think about, and a lot of crashes happen when people cross the street. So just like we have been told since we were in elementary school, we really have to make sure it's safe because before we step on the road. So just because the light says walk, it doesn't mean that we are necessarily safe. Drivers are distracted sometimes. People may not notice us when we are out there on the road. So we really have to make sure we look in every possible directions and see there are no cars coming before we step on the road. Crossing times is another issue. Right now, in many places, in most places, we have signals that tell us that blink when the light is about to change. So it gives us how many seconds we still have to complete crossing the road. And I always say a good strategy, and also the law, is that we don't start crossing when the light is already blinking, especially when you know that you are walking maybe a little slower. So it's always a good strategy to wait for a fresh green light, and that should give you enough time to safely complete crossing before the light changes. Backing vehicles is another issue. Sometimes we walk on the sidewalk and we don't realize that that sidewalk is also somebody's driveway. And when people drive out of their driveways, they may not see as well as they go forward. So again, it's good to pay attention to when we are in situations like that. And also there are a lot of backing vehicles in parking lots. So whenever you have to walk in the parking lot to get to your car, just pay attention to what's going on around you to make sure that nobody is backing out of a space at this particular time. And because when they back out, they don't really see that well. And my favorite is the next issue, the next item, drivers not seeing you. Many roads don't even have sidewalks, and especially this time of the year, it's so dark outside. So when you are walking somewhere, when it's dark, it's really, really very important to make sure that you are visible to drivers. And there are all kinds of things that help with that. There are all those vests or retro-reflective materials that you can equip yourself with. You can put on a vest which is very, very, very yellow and very bright, and it has those special stripes that reflect when the car lights shine into that gets reflected. So it really makes you very, very, very visible for drivers. It's always a good idea to carry a flashlight or a headlamp when you are walking somewhere and it's very, very dark at night. It always helps when you have a light there, right? And there, some headlamps have blinking lights in the back. So every little thing that makes you more visible also makes you safer. And I would like to mention another thing that we kind of assume. We have this trust in the system, in the signals. We assume when the light is red for the driver, that driver is going to stop. And most of the time they do stop, but we have seen how many people drive distracted. They talk on their phones when they drive. Some people even text when they are driving. There are all kinds of people who are maybe drunk, maybe on medication. So the thing is that we can't really trust. We can't really be sure that they will stop for us, even though they should. And if there is a collision between a car and a pedestrian gets much more hurt than a car. So it's really in our best interest to make sure that we pay attention and we are safe when we are walking out there.
Hello again. I hope you enjoyed our presentation, The Keys to Safe Driving, with tools, tips, and techniques to help keep you safe driving on the road for as long as possible. And when you're no longer able to drive safely, how to transition to driving retirement. You can give a call to the number 813-6188 that you see listed on the Older Driver Family Assistance Program slide. And I would be happy to assist you connecting with any services you need. Take good care and stay safe on the road.